Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 10 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, the 5th day of August, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air here in San Juan County, New Mexico. If you're listening to us in Durango, Colorado, we broadcast at 103.3 FM. And everywhere else on the planet, you can always go to our website to tune in. That's ksje.com. Also want to welcome our viewers this morning who are joining us. The video of this program is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. Welcome aboard each and every one of you. So glad that you have joined us this morning, because coming up, we are learning about another member of the San Juan Health Council. That is P.A.T.H, People Assisting the Homeless. There is lots to tell about this great local organization, so stay tuned for our conversation about P.A.T.H beginning in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then later on this hour, we will do what we do on Tuesdays, and that is check in with the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter. They'll be sharing with us some of the animals available for adoption this week, including that good-looking dog you see on the screen right there. That's Mr. Bowtie, who was waiting for his forever home, so stay tuned for that coming up later on this hour on KSJE. Next hour, of course, it is Roving with the Arts, our long-running classical music program. Mick Hess will be here, 9:06 on KSJE. Don't forget, you can also connect with us on other social media platforms like Instagram and Blue Sky and X, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And if you're a podcast listener, we remind you that you can subscribe for free to KSJE podcasts. They're available wherever you listen to podcasts, so check it out and maybe discover a new local program that you may have missed recently. Also, there's the new KSJE app available now. You can connect with KSJE on the go. Podcasts, streaming, everything is right there in your pocket, available now at the App Store and Google Play. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it is a sunny Tuesday morning, 65 degrees at the moment. A mostly sunny day ahead today with a high of 91 in Farmington, partly cloudy tonight, the low 67. Then take a look tomorrow. It's going to be a chance of showers tomorrow, 93 on Wednesday for a high, 70 degrees overnight, then hot again on Thursday with a high of 94, 93 and sunshine on Friday, and overnight lows near 70 degrees. Back with my guests with more right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The caregivers of San Juan Regional Medical Center are committed to bettering the quality of life, health, and care of individuals, families, and our communities. Life is their sacred trust. Better is their mission. Here is their home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, improving the health of the Four Corners since 1910. I'm back in Studio A this morning with my guests, as I mentioned, representing the San Juan Health Council. We have members of P.A.T.H here with us this morning. Joining me here in the studio, the Executive Director of P.A.T.H is here with us this morning. Liza Gomez-Lobato is here. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Great to have you here. Also joining us is the Treasurer from your Board of Directors. Bill Clements is here as well. Bill, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here, both of you, to talk about the story of P.A.T.H and the work that it is doing in the community to deal with homelessness and housing insecurity and all those important things. And so that's kind of your main bread and butter,
Yes,
I guess,
sir.
for lack of a better term, right?
It totally is. It's our passion.
Our passion and our best accomplishments are in housing the homeless and in feeding those in need a warm, hot meal.
Exactly. And I think a big part of it, too, is helping those folks who are homeless to transition into some kind of stable housing, right? It's working with them, not just to help them today, but really help them into the future.
Truly, our program is not just a hand out, but a hand up. We really look forward to bringing people in, helping them find a job, become stable, and then move on to either transitional or permanent housing.
Exactly. And so that you can do with the facilities that you have. And let's talk a little bit about those. I think maybe most folks are familiar with the shelter, the P.A.T.H shelter, which has, gosh, now been open for how many years? I'm trying to think now. A while.
We celebrated 42 years this summer.
42 years of P.A.T.H, but the shelter's not that old. That's relatively newer.
The new building, we've been there for about 20 years. But P.A.T.H
Is it 20 years? Really?
to Farmington has been around for a long, long time.
Okay. Well, see, I still consider it the new shelter, but 20 years, it's not quite as new, but it still looks new, which is great. And that is what provides this emergency housing for some folks and some more shorter-term housing for homeless folks and families too, I think, right?
Absolutely. I'll let our executive director talk about shelter programs, but
Okay.
let me very briefly announce that Daily Bread is our program to serve a warm meal to those folks for lunch.
Yes.
And anyone can come by our facilities at Hydro Plant Road, get a hot meal, and enjoy those things free of charge. And of course, that is staffed both by volunteers and then some kitchen staff.
That's the other program that you offer
That's
too.
one of the three. The other program that we have is transitional apartments. We call that Rio Esperanza. And men, we have 12 apartments, 10 or 11 of which are always full. And those are to help people with that next step after emergency shelter.
Got you. Very good. That's the overview of the programs that P.A.T.H offers in the community. So, Lisa, let me come over to you and talk a little bit about the shelter specifically, and that can. What is the capacity of that structure, that shelter?
Thank you. Yes, so the capacity is up to 100 people. So our family rooms can house up to 8 people in each family room. Mom and dad, up to 6 kids. So it's 100 at the shelter facility itself. So the core of our program is case management. It is a program. It's not just shelter. You come and crash and leave.
There are other facilities like that in town, but not yours.
Right.
Yes.
And we have tried to accommodate folks and can from time to time. But the core of the program is working with our case managers. Okay, what are your needs? Most of the time it's starting with driver's license, social security cards, birth certificates, getting them over to Workforce Solutions, get a resume, apply for jobs, and then housing, and just support them all through that process. It's a 90 to 120-day program. So there's a little bit of time to get stable, but housing first is kind of the way that we work. So you get stable, you have a safe place to go, you could do your laundry, take showers, eat, have a nice nutritious meal, which our kitchen staff is just doing great things with the local fresh produce, providing great nutrition. As a foundation to what's your next step?
Once the housing
recovery.
problem is solved, I guess, then that makes them able to focus on some of the other things, I guess is what I was trying to say.
I think that's the core of it. You stabilize that piece, and let's work on the other stuff.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that. There's a lot of rules. There's curfew. There's no drinking, no drugs. And there's several folks we support in recovery. Sometimes there's a relapse. Okay, let's get you into treatment or some other supports.
But I guess that makes sense though, because of the makeup of the shelter. You've got folks that are living not necessarily in close quarters, but together, and so you have to have rules that everybody follows and agrees to, or else it doesn't work for the group that you have, for all of them, all of the people. That's
very true. The men's and women's dorms are communal living. There's 8 bunk beds in each dorm. And there's 4 rooms in the men's, 3 rooms in the women's. So you have a lot of people, a lot of personalities, a lot of conflicts to solve, but everybody pitches in. It's a beautiful, clean facility. Some folks prefer not to stay after a while. It's too much. It might be too much structure, maybe too many people, or maybe some folks come in with SMI, serious mental health illnesses, that can't cope with that. But we help them in their next step, whatever that needs to be.
Sure. And folks can stay there at the shelter facility for how long? Is there a limit as to how long they can stay at that facility before they need to find something else or maybe transition to the apartments or what have you?
Really, there is. It's a 90 days to 120. The 120 is the extended stay program.
Mm-hmm.
It's a soft limit. It's not 120 days you're out.
Right. Okay.
It's okay, let's work with you. Maybe there's somebody who can't work. They're waiting for disability. So we'll work with them, maybe trade. Okay, you do extra chores and you can stay a little bit longer or something like that. I'm always teasing everybody, you're going to have to do extra chores to come back in. But really, we don't want to just kick them out because they've reached their 120th day,
Sure.
their 90th day. So
Right.
we can be flexible. We can work with each individual situation. You got to
Right.
individualize,
Of course.
to an extent.
That makes sense. And Bill, what else?
Man, I would just chime in that I think one of our particular strengths is by helping people up, by giving them a hand up, and going through the program, they really have an opportunity to change their life. And in order to do that, we used to be very rigid, and it really was not the right solution. And I think town has gotten to know us as a very rigid place. And today we have taken a totally different attitude. Let's try to work with each case, and let's try to give people several strikes before we immediately kick them out. And I'll address one rumor or bad bit of news around P.A.T.H is that if you are kicked out, you can never come back again. That's simply not true. If you're a person struggling with homelessness, we're here to help you, and we want to give you that hand up. Now, again, we do have rules, and we have to make sure that those rules are followed for the safety of both our staff and our participants.
Sure.
But, man, again, I would really like to address that idea that P.A.T.H is here to be flexible and help people from where they are to where they need to go.
I appreciate you saying that. I think that's important, especially to hear it from a member of the board of that's the rules that you are following and that you have changed some of those policies recently and to help more people.
Man, it was key in filling our shelter. And I'll take a moment just to brag on shelter. With 100 beds, we end up serving 18,000 people last year, 18,000 bed nights. I think that's simply incredible, and what a great service to this community. And honestly, at this moment, we're doing that on a skeleton staff of 10 people. So this is my moment to make a plug that
Okay.
we always need financial donations, and especially to support our staffing. We get great community support, but we always can use more to support our staffing, to make sure that a family comes in off the street and goes into one of our family rooms. Eventually, we hope to expand those family rooms because we really do think that's a priority for our community, is to get families off the streets.
Sure. I appreciate that, and we'll talk to more about that and how folks can actually maybe make a donation and connect with P.A.T.H to do that. And so there's certain ways to do that. Lisa, I want to ask you too a little bit about the idea of when folks are there and they come up to that 180 days or the limit of their stay. Do you, I guess, look back at kind of how far they've come during their time with you and say, wow, when you got here, you had no job and you had this and you had that, and now you've got a job and you've kind of settled down, and this is a really great progress of where you were to where you are today.
Yes, I think you hit the nail on the head there. That's the core of when we do case staffing every week, we're tracking their progress. We have weekly milestone sheets for them. When you came in, you had, this addiction, and you went to treatment, and now you're back, and that's wonderful. You have a job now. Yes, for sure. Look at their accomplishments, what they're working towards. HUD is a huge, long waiting list.
HUD is Housing and Urban Development, the
Yes,
federal
thank
housing
you.
program, yes.
Other
Sure.
housing assistance programs, long waiting lists. We understand that. Maybe 120 days isn't the right match.
120 days, I'm sorry. I think I
That's
misspoke
okay.
earlier, but thank you.
But we in my tenure, I've only been there a little over a year. We had one individual trading. She worked in the kitchen, and she did stay 180 days. And then she transitioned, and she had a job outside the shelter. And I don't know how she's doing now. I hope she's doing great. But those kinds of things happen.
Well, she hasn't come back, and maybe that's a good thing, right?
Yeah,
And so if you don't see these folks again, that maybe is okay, because your whole idea is to get them out and into the world
move
and
to
self-supporting.
next.
So
For sure.
Yeah.
Self-supporting, self-sufficiency, healthy,
right.
all those things.
And so that brings me to the next topic, too, which is a little bit about the next step, I guess, once the folks are done at the shelter or maybe completed their stay at the shelter. Bill mentioned the transitional apartments that are pretty full. And so that is kind of the next logical step for a lot of these folks to maybe go into that type of a more independent type of living and more responsibility and this and that. And so that's the next progression, I guess, for some of your folks who are staying at the shelter?
Absolutely. A very logical next step is to go to the transitional apartments. And I think one of the strengths of those transitional apartments is that they can continue to come back next door to shelter and have a meal, have some counseling. One of the other real holes we found in our program a couple of years ago as we were reviewing was that folks in transitional apartments were failing left and right. And the reason was they felt very isolated and alone. They had moved from a communal living at shelter to an apartment by themselves with no counseling. And so one of our great team members suggested, hey, we need to pull these folks back across, continue to give them some support. And man, I think we continue to see success out of that. As well, I think it's important we note that oftentimes folks shortcut the transitional apartments because we have such a limited number. They end up going straight to permanent housing. They're able to find a HUD voucher. They're able to find an apartment from shelter again. One of the things that program does is helps them save some money so that they can afford a down payment and a first month and a last month's rent as they come out of the shelter. So whether they go to transitional housing or more permanent housing, those are really our successes or our wins.
Got you. Very good. And I guess, too, that transitional housing, and maybe there are some programs at the shelter, too, to prepare them for permanent housing, of what it means to be a tenant and to pay that rent on time and to set aside some money for utilities and things along that line. Is that some of the things that you talk to your clients about, too?
Yes. So thanks. That's a great point to make. So we have offer life skills courses. And in shelter, they're able to practice making their bed, cleaning up. You know, some folks have never had to do that. You know, being a teammate, preparing healthy food, being on a schedule of some sorts. And part of the program in shelter is, hey, take care of your obligations, and we're providing a way for you to save funds.
Right.
We often say, okay, half of whatever your obligations are minus your obligations, you're working now, let's help you save. So whenever they leave the program, we just write them a check for whatever they've saved. It's important to note all the Rio Esperanza tenants are only from the shelter program. We don't take outside folks.
Right.
It's folks that are transitioned, have worked the program successfully, and are now transitioned into apartments, and
Gotcha.
they love the apartments. The apartments are really beautiful.
Yes, they are.
The whole facility really is beautiful.
Right. It's a great spot there on Hydroplant Road, as you mentioned. And so that's great to be able to offer that for these folks. And again, you mentioned that they're pretty full, and I imagine there's a waiting list maybe for those as well, right? If you had more, you could probably fill them.
I think if we had more, they would be full all the time. You know, we rarely have a vacancy, but when we do, we have someone in mind. Okay, let's see if they are interested in transitioning.
Right.
So it can happen either we can recruit someone, maybe they had the idea themselves, or they ask us, hey, I heard about this transitional living. How do I get in there? You know,
Right.
so let
Sure.
me apply.
Very
Yes.
good. And I remember, I think that these are they one bedroom or studio apartments? Tell me a little bit the size of the Esperanza apartments,
They're
please.
all one bedroom. It's 3 stories, 12 apartments.
That's
The
right.
first story is all handicap accessible.
Sure.
Like even the showers you could wheel in if you're in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
But one bedroom, max capacity, according to the fire marshal, is 4 tenants.
4 in the one bedroom?
In one bedroom.
If you had to,
If
I
you
guess.
have to, yeah.
But I'm sure for
So-
permanent housing or transitional housing, there are folks that are willing to
They're
do that, or
families.
families that want to do that with a couple kids.
You know, mom, 3 kids, mom, dad, 2 kids.
Right.
So
That that works.
Yes.
Very good. And then the other thing I want to talk about, we talked briefly about it, is the Daily Bread, which again is offering that meal, that hot meal for folks, and they're at the facility. And so that's available to anyone, I think you mentioned, Bill, right? And anyone that can come over?
Anyone in the community, and honestly, this might be my passion within our 3 programs. Daily Bread brought me in as a volunteer, and I got to serve lunch to those in need, and then from there worked my way onto the board, and finally today to be the treasurer. But the thing about Daily Bread is, it doesn't matter what your demographic is. If you need a hot meal, come sit down and have one in a safe place. And I think that is such a tremendous thing to the community. As well, I would really like to speak to anyone who wanted to volunteer. Man, Daily Bread always needs volunteers to hand out meals, to help clean up. If you want to come down and help us maintain our facility, we're very proud of our facility, and the Four Corners Foundation entrusted us with a great facility. But we want to do our very best to maintain it. So we're always looking for volunteers to do that. But oftentimes I encourage those folks to come down and join us for a meal at Daily Bread and see what really happens at the shelter. That's really the lifeblood of the homeless shelter, pardon me.
Yeah.
And, you know, the folks that are at shelter are oftentimes off to work during those hours, so it's the remainder of the community that comes in and gets that helping hand.
Nice. And I think, too, to remind folks that is available to everyone, as you said. And so if a family is experiencing maybe some tight budgeting this week or this month maybe, that this is an option for them to maybe at least come and get and know where one meal can come from for their family or for themselves, if they're individuals or their kids,
Right.
whatever it is, right?
Especially if you're a family, but even as an individual, don't go hungry. Come down, see us at Daily Bread. We'll make sure you get a nutritious meal.
Nice. And you serve from what time to what time?
11:30 to 12:30.
Thank you.
Monday
Yeah.
through Friday at the shelter location. And I think on our website it still lists our location.
The old location?
The old
Previous
location for Daily Bread on Barron, but it is moved to the shelter location. So it's open to anybody with food insecurity. We don't check IDs. We don't check your income. Just come and have a meal. You're in the neighborhood, you know, what have you. It's
Right.
It's a fabulous.
There you go. And again, the shelter is located on Hydro Plant Road. They're on the other south side of the river, I would say, kind of in between Murray Drive and not Scott Avenue.
McCormick?
McCormick School Road is there in that neighborhood. That's exactly.
Just east of Miller.
Thank you. Yes.
520 Hydro Plant.
There you go. So, but that's where you can find it. And so you've put out the call too for volunteers, and so you could also use, as a lot of nonprofits can, donations and things like that. You're able to accept donations. I know you have a great partnership with Echo and Echo Food Bank for these programs, both the meals at the shelter and the Daily Bread meals. But again, if folks wanted to donate, they can do that too.
Absolutely. Please go to our website and donate. You'll find a link right there to give. If you have any questions, that phone number will also lead you to Liza or one of her staff members to help donate. And truly, without Farmington and surrounding communities' donations and generosity, we wouldn't exist. And so we really thrive on those donations, and it makes a big difference at the end of the day. Currently, we have 10 staff members, and honestly, to be at full capacity, we need about 15. So truly, we are always in need of local donation and support.
Gotcha. Very good. And that website, what's the address to go for that?
Go ahead.
www.path.nm.org.
path.nm.org.
No dot in the NM, so
PathNM.
pathnm.org.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
pathnm.org. There you
Yes.
go. But if you do a search for Path NM, it will probably take you to the website
It will.
and show you how to.
Google knows us very well.
That's
so
great.
We're right at the top.
Very good.
I do want to shout out.
Yes.
Si Senors gives us brings a meal to all residents every single Wednesday night for dinner without fail for 20 plus years.
Nice.
Si Senor's great partner.
And so I guess if there's another restaurant listening this morning that would maybe want to get in on this too, if they went to your website and called you, you might be able to make arrangements for that too.
I totally would. That would be amazing.
Okay.
Yes. That
Very
would be
good.
amazing.
That's good to know. But there's a lot of ways folks can help. Food is one way. Are there some other things that folks could donate, like toiletries or things like that for the shelter programs, or what else could you use? Yeah.
Hygiene for individuals.
Right.
Socks.
Socks are important.
I have a high need for socks.
Okay.
Cleaning products for the shelter. Clorox and disinfectant and toilet paper and all the things that are needed.
Any of those
just
things.
to keep it going.
Okay. Very good. What else?
One additional item that I know might be very helpful is some bicycles. Our residents have a real challenge in that they need to get from Hydro Plant Road sometimes to, the east side of Farmington to work. And so we're really trying to build and establish some bicycle fleet, if you will, so that residents can get around, especially late at night, early in the morning as they might be coming home from their shifts.
Yeah.
That's really key for job searching and getting to a job on time. If they have a job that starts before the buses start going,
right.
Red Apple's great, but it has its limits.
It's true, very true. And so that's a great thing to think about. So if folks just have an extra bike lying around, maybe make a donation to P.A.T.H, and it'll be put to good use. That's very true. You've mentioned a couple of times the Four Corners Foundation. I think they deserve a big shout out. I know they are a major benefactor of the shelter and the P.A.T.H program. They feel very strongly about it and support it in numerous ways. I'm sure ways that I don't even know about. But kudos to them, and then they continue to support the work that you do.
Truly. Without the Four Corners Foundation, there simply would be no path. Both from building our building and being a great host, if you will, and then to financial support year in, year out. Without the Four Corners Foundation, there simply would not be a path.
Board members show up to our activities, our fundraisers. Dr. DeKay has office hours at P.A.T.H Shelter every single week.
Nice.
And takes care of medical needs for different individuals and invests himself in a lot of ways.
I would take a moment just to dwell on that. We do have street medicine and Dr. DeKay there at shelter. So if folks have medical needs, we're able to help them with that.
Terrific.
Another important little piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, very much so, very much so. And you mentioned other fundraisers, and so before we run out of time, I did want to mention and let you mention the big fundraiser you have coming up. It's still a few months away, but it'll be here before we know it, because here we are in August already, which I cannot believe. But yeah.
It's hard to be announcing October in August, but Halloween is just around the corner, and the day after we have the Dia de los Muertos, a chocolate affair celebration, and we would love for folks to come join us to donate and to celebrate the successes and wins at P.A.T.H.
Very good. And go ahead, Lisa. You were going to add.
I was just going to say, it was so fun last year. We wanted to keep the theme the same and build on it. Dia de los Muertos Gala. Folks were dressed up. They just did amazing. Great food. We just did a Mexican theme, and the chocolate was amazing.
Right, of course.
And chocolate martinis, if that's your gig. It was really good.
You had me at chocolate, but okay. Yes, exactly. That's wonderful. And this has been going on for a while now, I think, to benefit P.A.T.H as well, this event. It's maybe been held at different times of the year, but it's going to be now on November 1st is what you're saying, right? The day after Halloween.
Correct. And man, I think we've had at least 10 chocolate affairs over the last 10 years that I've served.
Right.
But the thing about this particular version of it is we're really excited to have that be our main annual fundraiser. A few years back, we were lucky enough to have the Mayor's Ball, and we had to dance this event around that, another great community event.
Very true. But that's coming up. Again, it is going to be held in November 1st, but it's not too early to think about maybe sponsorships, I think. If a business wants to get involved and help you put this on, you're open to those?
Truly, we have several layers of sponsorship for businesses and families here, and if you're interested in helping, we'd love to connect you with that.
We're developing all that
the levels and things, right?
Levels and all the flyers and things, so we'll get those out really soon. We do have a location already secured, the Elks Lodge. So
nice.
November 1st, Elks Lodge, 6 p.m., I think 6 to 10. We have a DJ. We're going to
See?
have great food. It'll be amazing. So we're just building on the successes from last year and years past.
Wonderful.
Looking forward to it.
That's great. Well, it's really important, again, to support P.A.T.H and all the work that you all do with your 3 different programs in the community, from the shelter to the transitional housing to the Daily Bread, and all the things that you and the board work on and the volunteers work on as well. So I really appreciate you both coming in to share that with us this morning. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And I really appreciate the partnership for saying, oh, can you fill in for us? And it's like, yes, please. It's been forever since we've been on the Scott Michlin Show.
Sure. Well, come back anytime. It's
Thank
great to have
you.
you here, and we really appreciate our partnership with the Health Council as well. They're a great partner, too. So good to see you both. Thank you so much for being here.
Scott,
Thank you, Scott.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it.
My guest from P.A.T.H here in San Juan County with me on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.